Hello, welcome back again. Last time we were looking at the TikTok, so we were looking at this idea that actually I can pivot my whole hand around to strike my opponent here and here, rather than having to do it as if we would consider it with a sword with a true edge. I can quite happily hit with what would be the flat of the blade and make it equally devastating. And we refer to that kind of moving the hand back and forward over as being flipped, because we are flipping the hand over. So what we're going to look at here is the same kind of idea, but we're going to be turning that into a kind of feign level attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deliver my attack in on normally, which my opponent can easily parry. Yeah? Andrew quite happily stops that attack from being able to pull. However, when I deliver that attack, I don't have to stop here. Yeah, because it doesn't matter which edge I hit him with. So what I can do is I can attack, and before I make contact, I flip my hand and use what would be the false edge of the sword to still deliver a hit. Now, I've got to have my hand ready because I've got to deal with this, which is a potential issue, because it's now, my cane is out of the way, I've exposed my head. But it does allow me to actually deliver a hit when I should have got a miss. I can do that on both sides. If I want to come in the other side, I can come in on this side, and as it comes in, I flip over, and I can still land a shot to the kidneys, as long as I'm aware that I'm going to have to deal with that cane. So I can use this as very much as a kind of feint. I'm going to move you across just for talking to camera purposes. And this allows us to do what's one of the very characteristic movements of Vigny cane system. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strike my opponent's head, and I know that he can parry. Yeah? Now I know he can parry, so I will do my flip over the top. So rather than attacking here, I'm going to step in a bit closer, turn, almost as if I was kind of pole vaulting or something, and land the false edge on the top of his head. So my attack actually becomes here. Yeah, he's not wearing a mask, so I'm being very gentle with that. Now, of course, once I've done that a couple of times, I can guarantee that guard is going to start rising higher and higher. So when I come in for the second one, yeah, he's full arm extension, I can't reach him anymore. But what he has done is moved his arm way up in the air. This allows me to step in and control underneath the arm here. Yeah? And from here I've got options as to what I can do. I can drive it to his face, I can take his knees. I don't really have to worry about anything because there's nothing he can do with that cane because I have his arm. That's option number one. I'll switch it back around with option number two. Or do I? No, actually, stick over there. Terrible to know which way to face the audience. I like this when I'm doing live demos as well. Not that I ever cut these together, so it was a live demo anyway. Shut up and carry on with the thing. So what I'm going to do here is that same setup to make him parry high. What I can then do is what we call a tada. So I'm changing from this downwards momentum here. I'm going to bring my hands in towards the center and then do a drop step with both feet to propel the cane upwards into my opponent's arm. So what happens is from here, if we go back to our beginning point, I come over the top and then deliver a strike, and it can be going for the knee, the stomach, armpit, elbow, chin. I can take my pick on that. But it's a very quick way of distracting their cane so far out of the field that they're not going to be able to do anything about the attack I'm actually launching. So from here, yeah? Again, I'm trying to do it deliberately off target because we're not armoured up at the minute. So we can use flips in this way to either set up a good feint or to even work around the solid guard that's still bound. Now, the other side of flips are what we call flicks. So a flick is where we turn our hand over. Yeah, so we're looking at this kind of rotational movement around our wrist. A flick is where I go from what we call an extended, if people talk about these things, fencer's grip. My thumb along the back, I'm putting all of my power in, my arm is a nice extension of the cane. If I pull that back from there into what we call hammer grip, where I go at 90 degrees rather than 180, that motion here, yeah, creates a flick. Not a very powerful one, but one we can use in multiple ways. So, I should also say, the difference between hammer and fencer's grip, you would normally switch between these as you're actually fighting. So the idea that one's right and one's wrong is one of those things people like to argue about. Doesn't matter. So, what I can do with the flick is, for example, if I can get my cane to the other side, in this kind of extended position. I'm keeping him at bay. Yeah, I'm going to smack him in the face if he comes near. That flick back into my guard opens up a really nice target area. It's essentially an inside beat. So from here, I'm in my extended position, I flick back, yeah, and from there I can turn and deliver a strike whilst he's still trying to get that cane back under control. I can do that from the other side. If I'm so inclined, I can almost disengage underneath and then do my flick to beat the cane the other way. And that's if I then wanted to come around and take the elbow. So I can use these in this way. I can even use them up, which is particularly good if a starting point, for example, you're actually holding a cane rather than already in guard. I can actually raise that cane up and through into a flick with enough power to clear out his guard out of the way. Yeah? From there, I don't have the momentum to carry on to a normal cut, but a forced lunge and a hit through to the head there is still going to be enough to stun him. So we can use these mostly for beats. We can occasionally use them in such a way as we can actually do some damage with them, but really there's not enough in them. They're more a distracting shot, but potentially if for some reason, so if my opponent was say to try and attack my elbow across here and I block here, I could come under with a quick flick just to annoy the back of his elbow, yeah? Which might make him retract that arm a little bit and open up a line that I could come in on. But they're not really great for attacks, other than little flicks to the back of the hand, which are really annoying and could potentially, if you catch them off guard, make them drop the cane. But the main reason, those flicks are great for smacking things offline and opening up a target area. So, carry on with a little bit with the flips to give you an idea of the things you can do with the flips that aren't just the TikToks, and also introducing those flips as well, which obviously brings us into the whole realm of feigns and beats, and ways to start to get around my opponent's guard, actually land a hit that maybe I feel I shouldn't if he was under normally a good guard and I wasn't cheating. So, we'll pick up on this again next week. Hopefully that all made some sense. As usual, if not, feel free to shout at me and we'll have a conversation online and we'll get it sorted out. Right, okay, take care.